Whatever metal you want to, that you take in the nitrate form, and after metal, whatever things you want to, that you take in sodium or potassium or ammonium way, and then reaction takes place and you get it. This is called what type of reaction? Double. Yes, double decomposition. Good. Now, today you learn this. How do we make? How do we change insoluble salt into another insoluble salt? If they have given you want to make an insoluble salt from insoluble, then let us see now how we can. Suppose they are saying convert PbCl2 into PbSO4. From PbCl2 we want to make PbSO4. They have given from where you will start. That they have given in the question. And you want to make another insoluble salt. How will you make? Suggest any method. So when okay, I think you read it. You read it, or you knew where from? From my notes, huh? Okay. Now listen. When you have to convert an insoluble salt into another insoluble salt, then you have to take two reactions. In two steps you can do. You cannot do in a single step. In first step, what we will do, we will convert the insoluble salt and into nitrate. How to convert into nitrate? The best is use nitric acid. Because nitric acid can react with everything. So use nitric acid, this will change to nitrate. Then you go to double decomposition reaction. That means we do like this. PbCl2 will start with this plus HNO3. What is the answer? This will react with this. It will become PbNO3O2 plus 2HCl. Put 2 here. So we are this is first step. We are forming nitrate. Nitrate is formed. Now we will take lead nitrate. Now we are going for double decomposition method. Plus we want SO4. Take sodium. Na2SO4. Or potassium we can take, or ammonium. Now double decomposition. This will combine with this. You get PbSO4, and this will combine with this. You get 2Na-NO3. So it becomes. This is very simple. In two step only you can do. You cannot do in a single step. Yeah, what is it? You have to change the nitrate because the double decomposition reaction goes with the nitrate, no? I told you the double decomposition time, you need to have something in nitrate I said, and something in sodium, something in potassium, something in ammonium you need to take. Yes? Here the base is HNO3, you can take even NaNO3, some nitrate you can take. Some nitrate you can take. But the nitric acid is the best one. Change this into nitrate form first and then go for double decomposition. Similarly, if I ask you to change PbSO4 into PbCl2, how will you change? You can tell me the steps, how will you do it? Change in nitrate form first, plus HNO3. Medicine number I write later on. What is answer now? This will become what? Pb O2 plus H will combine with this, that is H2SO4. No water plus H2SO4. Pb with this, H with this, H2SO4. Next time what will happen? Tell me. What will happen now? Plus you want to make chloride here. Chloride you want to take. What you should take? Yes, NaCl. Good. NaCl. Then Pb will now combine with this. It will give PbCl2 plus this and this. 2Na-NO3. Yeah, two steps. Two-step reaction. Yeah, tell Bharat. Yes, Bharat. Okay, no problem. Right, he's got connectivity issue today, yeah? So no problem, you see the video. Video is being made, you watch the video. Is it okay? Yes? Now I give another target, okay? See, you are given lead carbonate and you have to make PbCl2, okay? Tell me how you will make. Lead carbonate is another insoluble and PbCl2 is another insoluble. How will you make? Plus sodium nitrate. You can take sodium nitrate also. Let us take HNO3. Okay. Then what is the answer? PbNO3O2 can be plus what to write? Not carbonic acid. You know the fact when carbonates or bicarbonates or sulfides or bisulfide react with the dilute acid, what happens? Salt plus water plus CO2. That reaction you have to write. Salt plus H2O plus CO2. You have to write this. Put 2 here. Balanced. You don't remember. This is dilute acid, all dilute acid we are using. This time reaction is different here. It gives carbon dioxide. Now what to do after that? Tell me. This one, PbNO3O2 plus nitrate. Yeah, you can take KCl, you can take NaCl, you can take NH4Cl. Any one of these I say, no? What is the answer now? What will be the answer? PbCl2 plus 2KNO3, yes, put 2. So, for a change you are using KCl, it's okay. You could take NaCl also, you could take ammonium chloride also, yes. You understood? No, don't forget the general reactions. General reactions are always there, okay, for making salt. Those methods are also there, but there is no specific name to it. Like, carbonate when reacts with this one, it gives salt, water and this. If I had PbSO3 plus HNO3, what is the answer? Can we? What is the answer coming? Lead nitrate plus H2O plus SO2. That will happen. Yes. If I am having this one PbS plus HNO3, guess your answer. This is dilute. All dilute acid we are using. What is the answer? Plus no water there. Sulfide. This is the general reaction, the fifth general reaction of acid. Fifth one. H2S gas, H2S no. Alright. Rotten egg smell. Any kind of sulfide plus dilute acid gives salt and H2S, which has this rotten egg smell. You remember that general reactions. It is all the general reactions. You will be writing answer PbNO3O2 plus H2S, hydrogen sulfide. But we bother is lead nitrate. And from lead nitrate you can go ahead and make another insoluble. Yes or no? You have to remember all the reactions, like the previous knowledge will be there. There I told you when sulfide like ZnS, PbS, FeS, copper sulfide, any kind of sulfide will react with a dilute acid, gives salt and H2S. And the salt, because they are using dilute acid, salt has to be a soluble one. Normally they are making lead nitrate so that we can go to the second, the double decomposition method. Hope it is clear, no? You understood how you are making, huh? Okay, good. Don't forget, that's why I just did it in very tricky way. Because we may have carbonates, so that you are thinking that PbNO3O2 plus carbonic acid H2CO3. But it comes under the general reaction, carbonate one, no. It comes under the general reaction, general. Understood? Yes. Okay. Okay, now we are in the last part of this chapter. Okay, there are some definitions and all you written. What are called hydrated salts? Hydrated. We say the salts which contains water molecule, definite number of water molecule, or the salt which has water of crystallization are called hydrated salts. What are the example of hydrated salts? Example of hydrated salts is washing soda. Washing soda, and the formula is Na2CO3.NH2O. Then blue vitriol, yes. Yeah, green vitriol also, you're right. CuSO4.5H2O. Who said green vitriol good? Yes, very good. Then gypsum. Gypsum is CaSO4.2H2O. Flowers are also okay. There are quite many. So it is not only these three limited ones. There are quite many. There is gypsum. There is Epsom. Epsom is also there. There are so many are there. Okay, but only few you have to know. And sometimes they ask this question also in washing soda. What is the name given to the water molecule? What is the name given to the water molecule? No. Water molecule's name is given what? Water of crystallization. Yeah, definite number of water molecule it has, and that is known as water of crystallization. That name you have to see. Okay, when these ones, yeah, when, FeSO4.7H2O, that was green vitriol. Somebody suggested green vitriol, no, then Upamani, Yeah. And that is known as oil of vitriol, that is sulfuric acid one, isn't it? Yeah, remember, good. Okay, now, when these hydrated salts, when they lose their water of crystallization, they change into powder. And we call them anhydrous salt. Once they lose the water of crystallization, they are called what? Anhydrous. When they lose any oil, if they lose the water of crystallization and they no longer stay in the crystal form, rather they stay in powder form, then they become anhydrous. We call them anhydrous salt. ANHYDROUS, anhydrous salt. Just to know, just for knowledge. Probably they will not ask you that. Okay, now the next part. What are called deliquescent salts? Deliquescent. There is a phenomenon called deliquescence. Okay, I'll tell you. Deliquescence is the phenomenon in which a substance on exposure to atmosphere absorbs moisture and dissolves in the same to change into liquid form. So the phenomenon is called deliquescence, and the substance which changes into liquid, they are called deliquescent substance. If they are salts, we call them deliquescent salts. What are the example of deliquescent salt? The example of deliquescent salts are FeCl3, barium nitrate, even calcium nitrate, then MgCl2, then CaCl2. They are deliquescent salts. They are deliquescent in nature. And the deliquescent salts are kept in airtight container so that it does not absorb moisture from the air and it does not change into liquid. To prevent them from changing into liquid, we have to keep them in a airtight container or airtight bottle. They are called deliquescent salts. Okay. Okay, now what are called hygroscopic substance? Hygroscopic. The substance which on exposure to the atmosphere absorbs the moisture but without dissolving in it. That means they will not go and dissolve in the moisture, rather moisture will be dissolving in it. Such a substance is called hygroscopic substance, and the phenomenon is called hygroscopic. What are the example of hygroscopic substance? All drying agents such as concentrated sulfuric acid, calcium oxide, which we use for ammonia gas, that means quicklime, phosphorus pentoxide, then yes, H2 concentrated H2SO4, sulfuric acid. So they are all are hygroscopic substances because they are moisture absorbing nature they have. For that reason, we are using them as drying agents. Hope you understood it. Now the next one, the last one is efflorescent salts. What are efflorescent salts? We say efflorescent substances are the actually some hydrated salts. Then this water crystallization was some crystalline salts on exposure to the atmosphere lose their water crystallization either partly or completely to change into powder are called efflorescent substance, and this phenomenon is called efflorescence. What are the example of efflorescent substance? Washing soda and blue vitriol. When we keep them open in the air, in the sun, direct sun atmosphere, so they will lose their water crystallization and they will change into powder themselves. They will change into powder. So this phenomenon is called efflorescence, and the substance is called efflorescent substance. That means deliquescent substance and efflorescent substance, they are just reverse of each other. Deliquescent time the substance was changing into liquid, but here the crystalline solid is changing into powder. So they are actually just opposite of each other. Here they are losing their water of crystallization either partly or completely to change into powder. And deliquescent time the salts which was solid will change into liquid. On absorbing moisture they will dissolve in the liquid and change into a liquid. So that is deliquescent, and this one is efflorescent. Hope it is clear. Yeah, any doubts anybody has? So this chapter is done. Okay. Should we start new chapter today or when you say tomorrow? What do you say? Okay, intro. The name of the chapter is electrolysis. Notes I will send later. Okay, today most probably you will get the notes. Okay, first question is what is electrolysis? Electrolysis is the combination of two words. Electro means electricity, that is current. And lysis means analysis. Analysis means breakup. Suppose we are having a compound NaCl and I want to break it up. I want to separate Na and I want to separate Cl. For that I have to pass current. When we pass current, you find that Na breaks and Cl also breaks. So the process is called electrolysis. The decomposition of a chemical compound by current in its aqueous or molten state is called electrolysis. That is, for electrolysis, the substance must be in which state, physical state? It must be either aqueous or molten form. Molten is melted form. Molten or fused state. FUSED, fused. Molten state and fused state is same thing. In solid state, electrolysis does not occur, does not take place. Before that, I just give an idea. What are called ions? Tell me, what do you mean by ions? Anybody? Only positively charged. What about negatively charged? Electrically charged atoms are called ions. Electrically charged atoms are called ions, or charged atoms are called ions. Simple definition. Don't go in that positive, negative. Okay. If an ion is positive, what does it mean? If an atom is positively charged or it contains positive ion, what is the meaning of it? Tell me. What is the meaning? I say sodium. Sodium is positively charged. One positive charge, suppose it has. What does it mean? It means there is a shortage of deficiency of one electron in it. That means it has lost one electron. It has given up one electron. This is the meaning. Or if anything is having a negative charge, +1 or -1, negative one is, what is the meaning of negative charge? That means it has an excess of one electron. It has gained one electron. Now the electron, one electron is in excess than its neutral atom. You understood the meaning? Positively charged means loss of electron and negatively charged means gain of electron. If any atom is positively charged, that means it has lost the electron or there is a deficiency of electron in it. And the other one, negatively charged, means there is a gain of electron, that means there is an excess of electron in it. And the process of charging an atom or process by which an atom becomes charged or ions are formed, the process is called ionization. What is the process known as? Ionization, because you are making the atoms to form ions. So there are two processes of ionization of an atom. Okay, there are two processes. One is aqueous state. You have to take the compound in the aqueous state, mix water with it, because water has got the ability of forming ions. It makes the force between the two atoms weak, and it separates and makes the one atom to lose electron, the other atom to gain it. So presence of water causes ionization. Or you melt it. When you melt it, then the force becomes weak and they are able to form ions. What are the process of ionization? Name two methods of ionization. What are the two methods of ionization? One is dissolving in water and the one is by taking the substance in the molten form. Will ionization take place in the solid state? Answer is no. Because in solid state the force is so strong that it will not form ion. Ionization will not take place. So here actually electrolysis means we are the molten state you have to take the substance in so that it contains ions, and when you pass current through it they get separated and they are deposited at two conducting place. They are called cathode and anode. So that is the idea behind it. There is a general type question. They say solid NaCl does not conduct electricity, but molten NaCl or fused NaCl conducts. Why? What answer we would give? We say that in solid NaCl there are no ions. There is no ionization does not take place in the solid state because of the strong force, if you can mention that. Whereas in molten NaCl the force of attraction becomes weak and it forms ions. Instead of saying about the force and all, you just say in solid state it does not contain ions, and in the molten state it contains ions, so it conducts electricity. It's the general answer we give. If question comes why solid lead bromide does not conduct electricity but molten lead bromide conducts, what answer we would give? We would the same kind of answer. We say solid lead bromide does not contain iron, whereas molten lead bromide contains iron, so it is a good conductor of electricity. This kind of answer we will give, okay, anytime. If the question comes about the solid and either aqueous or molten state, we say not containing iron, so bad conductor. Cannot conduct electricity. Containing ions, so good conductor. We say that. There is another definition of electrolysis also. First one I said the decomposition of a chemical compound by passing current through it in its aqueous or molten state is called electrolysis. Or in other words, we say the conduction of electricity, the process of conduction of electricity by conduction of electricity through a substance in its aqueous or molten state due to flow of ions. Ions will flow is called electrolysis. That definition is also correct. We can give that definition also, and we have to know that definition also. Sometimes they say give a single term for the following statement, and there they will say conduction of electricity through a substance in its aqueous or molten state. What is the name given to this phenomenon, this event? What is the name given to this one? What single term you use for it? You say electrolysis. And the substance which conducts electricity in the aqueous or molten state, they are called electrolyte. Like if you are doing passing current through molten NaCl, the molten NaCl is the electrolyte. If you are doing the passing current in the aqueous state of molten lead bromide's electrolysis, suppose we are using molten lead bromide is the electrolyte. And the electrolyte only will break up. Decomposition will take place there only. So, after that you have to learn that there are three categories. One is called electrolyte, just now I said the substance which is a conductor of electricity in aqueous molten, they are called electrolyte. And what are called non-electrolytes? The substance which does not conduct electricity in aqueous or molten state is called non-electrolyte, which does not conduct electricity. Though the substance we are taking in the aqueous state or even in the molten state and it is not conducting electricity, so they are called non-electrolyte. What are the example of non-electrolyte? The example of non-electrolyte is pure water. Pure water. Other example is kerosene. Then we have CCl4, which is called carbon tetrachloride. Carbon tetrachloride is a liquid, but it is the non-electrolyte. It does not conduct electricity. Why it does not conduct electricity? Because it does not contain iron. If it does not contain iron, then what will it contain? It will contain only molecules. That means non-electrolyte contains only molecules. Question may come, give a single term for a substance that contains molecules only. Then answer you would write non-electrolyte. They do not contain iron, that's why they are non-electrolyte. As simple as that. CCl4 is used in extinguishing electrical fire, in putting off electrical fire, because it is non-electrolyte. Suppose there are short circuiting and the electrical fires have taken place anywhere. So should we use water at home to put out the fire? The answer is no, because the water which we are having at home, they are not pure water. They contain salts, minerals. Because of that, they are good conductor of electricity. When you throw water on the fire, electrical cable, so there is a high chance that you may receive a shock, electric shock, current. So, how to prevent that? So, you have to use carbon tetrachloride. The question may come, name a substance used in putting off electrical fire. The answer is CCl4. And what is the reason for this use? We say it is the non-electrolyte. About CCl4, very often they ask you, choose the substance which has only molecules. If question asks you which has only molecules, that means they are talking about non-electrolyte. You have to, from the list, you will pick up the non-electrolyte, pure water, kerosene, CCl4, they are all non-electrolyte. And CCl4 will be given, this is quite famous one, it will be given in the list. You can pick CCl4 as non-electrolyte. Then after comes strong electrolyte. What are strong electrolytes? We say the substance which is a good conductor of electricity in aqueous or molten state, they are called strong electrolyte. What are the example of strong electrolyte? All strong acids, all strong base or strong alkalis, or all strong salts. Like strong salt with the salts of active metal, like sodium salt, potassium salts, ammonium salts. They all will be strong electrolyte. They will be very good conductor of electricity in the aqueous or molten state. So what are the example of the strong electrolyte? NaCl. And about whatever you will study, whatever is there in your syllabus, so all of them are strong electrolyte. Okay, now the strong electrolyte contains ions only. They contain ions only. They will not have molecules. Name the particles contained by strong electrolyte, or they may say by strong acids. What answer? Strong acids are strong electrolyte, we know, and what particles will be there in it? We say ions. In non-electrolyte, name the particles present in a non-electrolyte. Non-electrolyte example CCl4. Name the particles present in CCl4, or in pure water. Then you say name of the particle is molecule. There we will not say ions. Then what are weak electrolytes? Weak electrolytes are the substance which is the poor conductor of electricity in aqueous or molten state, poor conductor. What is the example? Weak acids, all weak acids are poor conductor of electricity. Weak acids examples are what? Formic acid, acetic acid, citric acid, carbonic acid, they all are weak acids. So they are also the example of weak electrolyte. Weak alkalis such as calcium hydroxide, ammonium hydroxide, they are weak electrolyte. Any weak type of thing, they will be weak electrolyte. Simple as that. Okay, now weak electrolyte contains both molecules and ions both. Non-electrolyte contains molecules only. Strong electrolyte contains ions only. But the weak electrolyte contains both ions and the molecules. Name the particles, you say both ions and molecules. That will be contained by weak electrolyte. An example of weak electrolyte I already gave and you already have the idea about it. Is that okay? Did you understand so far? Very often we ask you what is CCl4. So our today's lesson is this much, okay? Then tomorrow we'll continue with it and you will get the notes as well.